Okay, I'd like to talk about why it is that the Equal Rights Amendment failed in the United States and why it would be a mistake to try to revive it. Okay, the Equal Rights Amendment failed because, unlike the 19th Amendment to the United Constitution, which gave women the vote, nobody knew what the Equal Rights Amendment was going to do. Nobody! You'd have all these debates. It's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. Okay? Now, with the 19th Amendment, everybody knew what it was going to do. It would allow women to vote. Okay? Now, and some people were against that, but they'd say why they were against it. But with the Equal Rights Amendment, you'd have to talk about what it was going to do because nobody knew. Okay. But another problem, which is equally basic, is any problems that are sex specific in the United States that women have are really not based on lack of legal rights. The Equal Rights Amendment was kind of based on the idea that women suffered because of lack of legal rights. But we have basically all the legal rights, well, and especially in the Constitution, that men do. You know, freedom of worship, freedom of speech, right to trial by jury. Those legal rights are there. And that's basically not what our problems are. Any special problems we have are more rooted in biology and have to be actually addressed through special help, such as social welfare programs. And I think Sylvia Ann Hewlett wrote a book called A Lesser Life, The Myth of Women's Liberation in the United States. And she made these points better than I can because she, devoted a book to them and is an economist. But she did make the point, women give birth. They nurture babies. And there are special problems with that. Or not special. There are special costs to that. And you actually have to have certain social supports put in, not just equal rights. And in fact, Phyllis Schlafly made a good point when she said that the law has to compensate women for the fact that we get pregnant and give birth. And I think that appealed to a lot of women because, perfect equality means we can't be compensated for the extra burden that we inevitably literally bear in reproduction. Okay, and I think it would be definitely a mistake to try to revive a ghost. And every now and then people try to revive the Equal Rights Amendment. And we really shouldn't do that. Another problem with the Equal Rights Amendment is that, and this is something that Phyllis Schlafly saw and almost nobody else did, is that it meant that every state in the United States had to meet a federal standard in any laws having to do with gender. And, since you can kind of talk a gender-related thing into a lot of laws, it really would mean that, there would be increased federal oversight in a lot of state laws having to do with marriage, divorce, those sorts of things. Anyway, I really think that social supports for motherhood, and we also need to put in, like I've said before, greater legal protections in cases of divorce or separation for people who are dependent spouses, which usually are women, and they're not always, but they usually are. And those things need to be done. And, these are things that we need to get busy on and really not waste our time with something that's not going to happen. Hope you liked hearing that. Bye.